Hello everyone, welcome to the daily newspaper analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy, 5th March 2025. Displayed here are the list of articles that we will be discussing today. The first article, maternal mortality of 100 lakh achieved. The article is taken from the Hindu. India has successfully reduced the maternal mortality rate to 100 per lakh. There is a decline of nearly 83% between 1990 to 2020 within 30 years. And in this topic, we will be discussing what is maternal mortality and what are the initiatives launched by the government of India to reduce the maternal mortality rate. And the second article, 286 lions, 456 leopards died in Gujarat in last 2 years. The article is taken from the Hindu. The Gujarat State Forest Minister informed the State Legislative Assembly that the big cat family in Gujarat is under threat. So in this topic, we will be discussing what is this article and what are the government initiatives launched to protect the animals. The third article, PLI boost cancer drug to cost less. The article is taken from the newspaper Live Mint. PLI, Production Linked Incentive Scheme, which was launched in the year 2020. We know that. And now the industries, the pharmaceutical industries in India started producing cancer drugs. And this is expected to reduce the cost of this drug. So in this topic, we will be discussing what is this PLI, its objective, and the cancer burden, and what are the initiatives taken by the government to address the problem of cancer burden in India. The fourth article, startups Polish pitch to make lab-grown diamonds. The article is taken from Live Mint. In this topic, we will be discussing what is lab-grown diamonds, what are its advantages, how it is different from the natural diamonds, what are its disadvantages, and what is the application of this lab-grown diamond. So without much delay, let's get into the discussion. But before getting into the discussion, there's an important announcement from Shankar IAS Academy. Shankar IAS Academy is pre-fit 2025. The batch third will be starting on 10th March 2025. We know that the prelims is getting tougher and tougher every year. So solving as much as problems or questions is the only way to crack the CSAT or the GS paper 1. So do register and take the test and challenge yourself. So now it's time to start our discussion with the first article. 286 lions, 456 leopards died in Gujarat in 2 years, says Forest Minister in Assembly. The Gujarat State Forest Minister, Mr. Mullabhai Bera, informed the State Legislative Assembly that in the last 2 years, nearly 286 lions and 456 leopards died in the state of Gujarat due to various natural and unnatural reasons. So let us discuss more about this article from the prelims perspective. So in the case of lion, nearly 286 lions died in the last 2 years, and out of this, 121 died in the year 2023 and 165 died in the year 2024. And out of this total number of lion death, 228 was due to the natural reasons and the remaining 58 was due to the unnatural reasons. And coming to the case of leopards, nearly 456 leopards died in the last 2 years, and out of this 225 was in the year 2023 and the remaining 231 was in the year 2024. And out of the total number of death, the natural death was 303 and unnatural death was 153. And this alarming statistics raises a significant concern about the habitat safety, of the animals, the human encroachment into the animal habitat, and finally the effectiveness of the conservative efforts. So let us discuss what are the natural causes behind the death of these species. So first is the aging and disease. That is, the animals are highly vulnerable to infections. For example, in the case of the wolves, lion, tiger, they are highly vulnerable to something called the CDV, that is canine distemper virus. This is a virus which can rapidly spread among the animals, and it is also there is a possibility that this virus can spread from animal to humans as well. So this is a threat to both the humans as well as animals. And the next is intraspecies fight for territory, for prey, for mate, for habitat and all. And finally the habitat pressure, that we know that the increase in the population or the expansion in the settlement can bring more pressure on the ecosystem. Therefore, sometimes in a certain area the ecosystem will be destroyed, so animals has to migrate from one region to another region. So this will bring a more pressure on the land resource and in the ecosystem. Finally, this will result in overcrowding and competition for the food. So ultimately, the fittest will survive and the remaining will perish. But here the problem is the accelerated perishing of the animals. So next is unnatural causes. So one of the major reasons is the vehicle collision, that is accidents. The vehicle sometimes will hit the animals and this will result in the death. And next is drowning in the open wells. The uncovered wells near the human settlements can sometimes become fatal to the animals. And the next is illegal activities like poaching, that is the trading of the body parts or the animals for a profit or for medicine can also result in the reduction of this population. And next we have the railway accidents, that is the railway track near the Gir sanctuary is is recording frequent cases of accidents or collisions with the wild animals. So coming to the conservation status of Asiatic lion and leopard, so let us discuss one by one. So Asiatic lion first we will discuss. So the scientific name of this Asiatic lion is Panthera leopersica, and in the IUCN it is categorized as endangered. And what are the major threats? So habitat loss, disease like the CDV, human conflict are the major threat. And the next is coming to the legal protection of this Asiatic lion. We can see the CITES, that is Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species, and this convention categorized this Asiatic lion in the Appendix 1, which strictly bans the international trade of this animal except in certain circumstances. And then we have the Wildlife Protection Act in 1972, and this Asiatic lion is protected under the Schedule 1, which provides highest level of legal protection, and the people who are violating this will face heavy penalty or imprisonment. And coming to the case of leopard, the scientific name of the leopard is Panthera pardus fusca, and it is categorized as vulnerable in the IUCN status. And the threats faced by leopard includes habitat fragmentation, poaching, and all. And coming to the legal protection in CITES, it is under the Appendix 1, which strictly bans the international trade of this animal except in certain circumstances. And then we have the Wildlife Protection Act in 1972, and here leopard is also protected under Schedule 1, which provides highest level of legal protection and also ensures strict anti-poaching measures. And coming to the important government initiatives, the first major initiative is Project Lion, which was launched in the year 2020, and the nodal ministry for the implementation is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What are the objectives? Habitat improvement, disease control, and developing an ecosystem which will ensure better survivability of these animals. And coming to the key features of this project, first is habitat improvement, that includes the restoration of the Gir forest and the development of the Barda wildlife sanctuary. And next, disease surveillance. We know that disease is one of the major reasons behind the death of these animals, and therefore ensuring proper vaccination. In 2018 there was an outbreak of CDV, that is canine distemper virus, and followed by that the government has strengthened the vaccination initiatives and ensuring better veterinary care. These are the measures taken to ensure the health of these animals. And finally, conflict management, that is using the early warning system to protect the animals from any type of disaster or any type of conflict, and ensuring the community participation for a sustainable manner of conservation of these animals and the biodiversity. And then the next is the use of technologies like GPS tracking, AI camera traps to to supervise the animals and to ensure that they are safe. For example, in India we have something called M stripes, and this is used for estimating the tiger population. So go and check more about this M stripes. And finally, this translocation plan, that is safely translocating the species from one place to another place. And we had a plan to translocate this Asiatic lion from Gir forest to Kuno National Park, but still it is pending. And the next initiative is the integrated development of the wildlife habitat, and this initiative was launched in the year 1992 and under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And the objective of the scheme is the conservation of endangered species, including Asiatic lion. So what are the major features of the scheme? First is the funding for the conservation, that includes funding for habitat restoration and also to take sufficient anti-poaching efforts. And the next is ecosystem development, that is to support the livelihood and the sustainable livelihood and ecotourism. And the next is wildlife corridors, that to ensure the safe passage for the animals. For example, we have the elephant corridors in India, right? So establishing such a system to reduce the conflict with the vehicles or humans, and the objective is reducing the conflict. And finally, the community involvement, that is to ensure a sustainable manner of conservation, and also it will be a source of alternative income because it will promote the ecotourism. And finally, the training and research, that is focusing on genetic studies and capacity building. And what is the current status for this? The scheme is providing active funding for the Gujarat lion conservation project, and also this has taken steps to address issues like habitat loss and climate change. And coming to the next initiative, that is the Wildlife Protection Act in 1972. So this law was enacted with an objective to provide legal protection for animals, including lion, and also regulating the protected area to reduce the further deterioration of the ecosystem and the species. The Schedule 1 of this Wildlife Protection Act ensures strict penalty and also provides highest level of legal protection to the animals. That is, if anyone is violating, if they are going for hunting or poaching of the endangered species, then definitely they have to pay high penalty or they will be imprisoned. And the next is establishment of the protected areas like the Gir Sanctuary and the national parks and the biospheres to regulate the human activity. And the next is anti-poaching measures that includes ensuring stronger penalties for the people who violates these provisions, and also launching anti-poaching units to trace the people who are violating this provision. And the next is Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, and this body is this institution is responsible for the investigation of crimes related to wildlife, and they can even collaborate with the Interpol to track the culprits. And finally, the community reserves, that is encouraging the conservation through community participations. So in this topic we discussed what are the major threats faced by the Asiatic lion and the leopard, and what are the initiatives taken by the government of India to protect these species. So based on our understanding, try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, what is the IUCN status of the Asiatic lion? The correct answer is option B. It is a factual question, and whenever you are trying to answer this type of questions in the prelims, always refer the latest data, because the status of the animals will sometimes improve or they will deteriorate. So as per that, the data will also change. The status IUCN status will also change. So stay updated, and it's time to move to the next article. India hit a targeted maternal mortality rate of 100 deaths per lakh live birth. The article is taken from the Hindu. So India has made a significant achievement, that is reducing the maternal mortality rate by 83%, that is bringing them to 100 per lakh live birth. And this between the last 30 years, that is between 1990 to 2020, says the Union Health Minister, and he was chairing the 9th National Health Mission steering group, and this decline is much higher than the decline in the global level. So let us discuss more about the maternal mortality and the National Health Mission from the prelims point of view. So coming to the maternal mortality rate, before that we have to understand what is meant by maternal mortality. Maternal mortality refers to a death of a woman due to pregnancy or any other complications related to pregnancy. And here you can see the definition given by the WHO. According to WHO, maternal mortality rate refers to the maternal death during pregnancy or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy or any other causes related to pregnancy or its management per 1 lakh live birth. And this excludes accidents and incidental death. For example, if a pregnant woman is died because of accident, then that will not be calculated under the maternal mortality. So what are the major causes behind the maternal mortality? First is the unsafe abortions. This can lead to infections or other complications during the time of procedure, which can be fatal. And the severe bleeding, especially after the delivery, can sometimes lead to infections and death. And the infections itself, that means infections from the wound or any other type of infections can lead to the death of the women after delivery. And the next is high blood pressure related complications. That means during the time of pregnancy there is a possibility that the blood pressure will go high, but it has to be stabilized. So otherwise it can bring a lot of complications and sometimes can even lead to stroke or cardiac arrest. And finally, the delivery complications itself. That means if they are if the communities are going through unscientific or if they are not practicing the delivery or maternal health in institutions recognized by the government, then that can lead to complications at the time of delivery, or other complications related during the time of surgery can also lead to fatality. And coming to the India's MMR progress, so now we can see that in the last 30 years, that is between 1990 and 2020, there is a 83% decline in the the maternal mortality rate, and this exceeded the national health program target, and this exceeded the target of the National Health Policy 2017, which targeted the reduction of MMR to 100 per lakh birth, and this decline is much higher than the global average. That means 42%. That is, now the global average of MMR is in the year 2020 is standing at 223 per lakh live birth, but now in the case of India it is 100. And in India, within India, there are certain states like Kerala, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu who are very good at maternal mortality. So within India, we have certain states like Kerala, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu, which provides very good maternal health. Their records below, maternal mortality rate below the national average. But if you consider the history, then you can see India has made a significant changes. For example, if you take the Bohr committee report of 1943. Bohr committee is a committee appointed by the British government to do a health survey in India, and that was headed by Joseph William Bohr in the year 1943. And they found that at the time, that is before the independence, the maternal mortality was standing at 2000 per lakh birth. So now we can see in the last 30 years itself, we made a significant reduction by 83%. So we have to appreciate the initiatives taken by the government of India to ensure the maternal care for the women and for the betterment of the children. So coming to the next part, that is the National Health Mission. This was launched in the year 2005 by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And the National Health Mission has two components. First is the National Rural Health Mission and National Urban Health Mission. National Rural Health Mission, from the name itself, we know that it is focusing on the health and the welfare of the rural area, while urban is for the urban area. And the mission steering group, it is the highest policy, it is decision making policy, and it is chaired by the Union Health Minister, and it includes members from the state governments, NGOs, and Niti Aayog. So what are the factors that contributed to the reduction in the maternal mortality rate? First is the improved institutional deliveries. For example, we have taken a lot of initiatives like the Janani Suraksha Yojana. The scheme was introduced in the year 2005, and it is a part of the National Health Mission, and this provides financial assistance to the women as well as to the child. And the next we have the Janani Sishu Suraksha Karyakram, and this provides all type of free health services to both the women and the child. And then we have better antenatal and postnatal care, and also we have the Poshan Abhiyan to address the problem of malnutrition. We know that currently we are going through the Poshan Abhiyan 2.0, which is giving more attention to women and child, for example, delivery of the folic acid and iron tablets through Anganwadis and schools to ensure the health and to address the nutrition of the children and the women. And also India has taken a lot of significant other initiatives like the elimination of sickle cell anemia. This is focusing on community-based health, community-based healthcare initiatives are. And we can also see that India has taken a lot of other initiatives like targeted initiatives like the elimination of sickle cell anemia scheme, right? And this is looking for the elimination of sickle cell anemia, particularly in the PVTGs, that is particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And other government initiatives includes the LaQshya, that is Labor Room Quality Improvement Initiative, and this is that includes providing better quality health service to women. And the next is the Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan, which provides free health checkups to women during the time of pregnancy. And then we also have midwifery services initiatives, which ensures better care for the personalized care for the women who is pregnant. So SDGs and the MMR, we know that all the nations are committed to the Sustainable Development Goals 2030, and now we are in the year 2025, right? And this achievement is a biggest achievement towards our journey to the Sustainable Development Goals. And this, we know that currently India reduced the maternal mortality rate to 100, but we can see the Sustainable Development Goal 3.1, the objective is to reduce the maternal mortality to 70 out of 70 per lakh by 2030. But this requires an annual decline of around 11.6%, which has a lot of challenges. So anyway, this, if you take the India since 1947, we can see that we came a long way, and we made a significant achievements. So based on this, try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, consider the following statements regarding maternal mortality rate. Statement 1, maternal mortality rate is defined as a number of maternal death per 10,000 live birth in a given period of time. And statement 2, India has achieved the National Health Policy 2017 target of reducing the maternal mortality rate to below 100 per lakh live birth. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C 1 and 2, option D neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option B, that is 2 only. The option A is incorrect because it is not 10,000 per 10,000, it is 1 lakh. So whenever you are seeing these type of numbers or data in UPSC statements, then definitely there is a chance that the statement will go wrong. So anyway, be careful in this type of traps, and yes, the correct answer is option B. So with this, we will move to the next article. Startups Polish pitch to make lab-grown diamonds sparkle. The article is taken from the newspaper Lineman. So diamonds, one of the rarest and highly valuable elements on this planet, right? But now the startup started growing diamonds in their labs. So let us discuss more about the lab-grown diamonds from the prelims perspective. So lab-grown diamonds production, how it is produced. So it is also similar to the diamond only, but it is produced in labs. That is a difference. So how it is produced? So first is using the high pressure, high temperature. So high pressure and high temperature is a primary condition for the formation of diamonds, right? In the case of natural diamonds, the fossil fuel will go beneath the surface, they will go deeper and they will be subjected to high pressure from the core, and they will be subjected to high pressure from the landform, and as a result over a period of time the diamonds will be formed, right? And here also they will mimic the same phenomena, and which is a reason behind the formation of natural diamonds, and uses this high pressure and high heat, so that turns the carbon into diamond. So the procedure is same only, but it is done artificially. And the next is CVD, that is the chemical vapor deposition, that is the carbon gas is heated in the chamber and the diamonds will be formed layer by layer. So what is the difference between these natural diamonds and the this lab grown diamonds or man-made diamonds? First is the formation. The natural diamonds will take millions of years to form a little amount of diamond, while in the case of lab grown diamonds it can be made in a week or even in a month in a lab. And the source is the next major difference. The natural diamonds, it is mined from the earth, while it is created in the lab artificially. And the case of cost, the natural diamonds are more expensive because it is not found everywhere on this planet, and at the same time it has a huge human cost, while in the case of lab grown diamonds it is cheaper. And the environmental impact, in the case of natural diamond, it is much higher because mining can emit a lot of carbon, right? And in the case of man-made or lab-grown diamond, it is eco-friendly because here it is using electricity. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of this lab-grown diamonds? First is the cost. So the lab-grown diamond is 30 to 40% cheaper than the natural diamonds. And the next is it is eco-friendly, no mining, therefore no emission of carbon, and less environmental impact only. So the next is ethical advantage, that is no blood diamonds. That we know that the mining is always, it is a highly hazardous occupation. So sometimes the fatalities will happen. The people in the mines will be subjected to a lot of infections, health conditions, right? Cardiovascular, pulmonary health conditions. So no such incidents will happen here, but still there are certain issues. That means exposure to the carbon for a prolonged time of for a prolonged period can lead to a lot of health conditions. And the next is customizable, that is we can control the size, we can control the quality, we can control the color of the diamond, but in the case of natural diamond it is not possible. And in the case of what are the disadvantages? First is the resale value. The lab grown diamond has only lower value compared with the natural diamond. And the next is perspective or perception of the people. That is the people, even though we have this lab grown diamond, still the people will prefer the natural diamond because of its rare nature. And the next is energy usage. This is another disadvantage of this lab grown diamond because it consumes high electricity. So what are the applications of this lab grown diamond? First is jewelry. Obviously it can be used in rings, earrings and a necklace. And the next is industrial purpose. It includes using in the cutting tools, electronics, and for medicinal purpose. We know a diamond is one of the hardest objects that we can see on this planet. And the next is the applications in new technologies, which includes using the advanced technologies and for defense purpose can be used. And the next is the application in the field of quantum computing. So with this we are coming to the conclusion for this article, but before that we have to look into this prelims practice question. The question is, what is a key industrial use of a lab grown diamond? First is making jewelry. Second is cutting and drilling tools. Option C, painting surfaces, and option D, producing artificial wood. The correct answer is option B, cutting and drilling tools, because diamond is one of the hardest objects that we can see on this planet. So with this, we will move to the next article. PLI boost cancer drugs to cost less. The article is taken from the newspaper Live Minute. We know that PLI, Production Linked Incentive Scheme, government launched the PLI 1.0 in the year 2020, and now currently we are in the phase of PLI 2.0, that is launched in the year 2023. And this scheme is aiming to boost the domestic manufacturing in India. And now many industries in India, especially the pharmaceutical industries, they started producing cancer drugs, especially the pharmaceutical industries like the Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Glenmark Pharmaceutical Industries. They started producing cancer drugs in India, and this is expected to reduce the cost of these drugs. We know that cancer, it's a condition where the cells in the human body multiplies without any control, and if it is treated properly in the very early stage, we can save the person. But if a person is left without treatment, then saving that person will become very difficult. And one of the challenges to treat the cancer is the cost of the drugs. And this scheme is expected to reduce the cost of the cancer drugs in India. So let us discuss more about this article. So PLI scheme, first we will have an overview about the PLI scheme. It is a government scheme. It's a government initiative. The first phase was launched in the year 2020, and it is known as PLI 1.0. And this is aiming to boost the domestic manufacturing in India. One of the objective is to reduce the import, and the next is financial incentives to the certain sectors. And now under the PLI 2.0, the industries will receive 5% incentives in every incremental sale, and this is aligning with the principles of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is achieving the self-reliance. And we are trying to achieve the self-sufficiency since 1947, and we made significant changes these days. And coming to the nodal ministries of this scheme, the overall coordination for the PLI is done by the Ministry of Commerce and Industries, but for the pharmaceutical industries and for the sectors related to the medicine, we have the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers, and that is and within that we have the Department of Pharmaceuticals. They are responsible for the pharmaceutical sectors and industries. So whenever we talk about the pharmaceuticals, we have a tendency to go with the Ministry of Health. Actually, it is not. It is supervised by the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. The PLI scheme was launched in 14 sectors, which include pharmaceuticals and bulk drugs, electronics and IT hardware. We know that the PLI 2.0, it is looking for boosting the IT sector. And the next, telecom and networking products. And here you can see other industries which coming under this PLI, that includes automobiles, medical devices, solar PV modules, advanced chemical cell and batteries, textiles, white goods like ACs and LEDs. And the next, specialty steel, drones and drone components, and food processing industries will also comes under the PLI scheme. And coming to the PLI in the pharmaceutical sector, we can see the objective is to reduce the dependency on medicines and active pharmaceutical ingredients. This is one of the major objectives of the role of the PLI scheme in the pharmaceutical industry. And the next is supporting the production of high value drugs at a low cost. The best example is the cancer drug itself. And under the scheme, the government has allocated rupees 15,000 crore to the pharmaceutical sector, and it is expected to bring a lot of changes and benefits to the people, like cheaper drugs and job creation. So this PLI has so far created nearly 1 million jobs. So coming to the PLI impact on the cancer drugs, we can see that first, most cancer drugs are imported and costly. This can be addressed. And the next is Indian pharmaceutical industries like the Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Glenmark, Biocon. They are all producing the drugs under this PLI scheme. Therefore, it is expected to reduce the cost of these drugs. And this will reduce the treatment cost and increase accessibility to the treatment. We know that one of the challenges to treat this type of complex disease is the accessibility to the drugs, because they are usually costly. And coming to the cancer burden in India. So annually 1.5 million new cases are reported, and it is the second leading causes of death in India. And cases are expected to rise in the coming days because of the changes in the lifestyle, changes in the the climate change, or the changes in the food habit of the people. So because of these reasons, we can expect a rise in the cancer diseases in the coming days. So common cancer types in men it is usually the lung cancer, oral cancer, stomach, prostate or colorectal cancer. And in the case of women, the common types are the breast cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, lung cancer and colorectal cancer. And what are the challenges we have before this cancer treatment? First is the lifestyle of these people because of smoking, alcohol and poor diet, and also the lack of exercise can increase the risk of cancer among the people. And the next is infections, especially this human papilloma virus. It is a reason behind the cervical cancer among women. And then the infections like hepatitis B and C, it is one of the reasons behind the liver cancer. And the environmental reasons like the pollution, the use of pesticides in agriculture products can also result in the increasing rate of cancer. And genetic factors, that means if in a family, if it has a history of cancer, then there is a possibility of cancer in the coming generations as well. So coming to the government initiatives to address the problem of the cancer burden in India, first we have the Cigarette and Other Tobacco Products Act, and this act controls the tobacco use through proper awareness. And then we have the Jan Aushadhi, Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi stores, which provides affordable generic medicines to the people. And the next is the National Cancer Grid, and this connects the major cancer hospitals which provides cancer treatment to provide a standardized treatment for the cancer patients. And the next we have the National Program for the Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases and Stroke. So we know that the cancer, this cardiovascular disease and stroke, they are all somehow they are related, because the people who following not unhealthy lifestyle, or the people who are smoking too much or eating junk food are also vulnerable to cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular issues and stroke. Therefore, a comprehensive plan is required, and here we have this National Program for the Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Disease and Stroke. So this is focusing on prevention, early detection of the diseases or early symptoms in the people to save their life. And next we have the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which provides insurance to the people to address the problem of treatment cost. And the next we have the PLI, that is Production Linked Incentive, and currently we are in 2.0, which is providing more importance to the service as well as manufacturing. And now the pharmaceutical industries in India started producing manufacturing drugs, cancer drugs and other drugs for highly fatal diseases. So this is expected to reduce the cost of the drugs, and we can expect that this will ensure better accessibility too. So in this topic we discussed the cancer. So let us conclude the topic with the prelims question. The question is, which government initiative provides financial aid for cancer treatment for economically weaker section? Option A, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, and then we have the Ayushman Bharat, and then we have the Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana, and then Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. And which the question is, which government initiative provides financial aid for the cancer treatment for economically weaker section? The answer is option B, Ayushman Bharat, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So it provides insurance and addresses the problem of treatment cost. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's newspaper analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time update from Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.